Hi, welcome to Pilates with the Fitness Circle. So this is a beginner's approach to Fitness Circle for those of you who haven't used much of this Fitness Circle, and we'll do about a little 20-minute run through, right? So the first one I've decided to do is seated, so I'm on a chair. It's kind of easiest way to just connect in with your pelvic floor and your inner thighs as well, because with all props, what a prop does is allows you to connect into your body that little bit more, right? Hence the resistance. So I'll get you to place your hands on the sides of your ribs. Breathe in, feel your ribs expand laterally. Relax out. Let your ribs close in and down. If you think of your ribs like an accordion, breathing in wide, opening up, and then exhale. Let them close in and down. So I'm trying not to let my back arch, and I'm trying not to let my ribs have me rocking forward and backwards, right? Then the resistance, the benefit of this is to help you with connecting in with your pelvic floor and your abs. I'm sitting on the edge of the chair, so I'm not in a slumped position like that. And then I breathe in. And then I draw up my pelvic floor muscle, so it's a light connection of front and back passage, like you're pulling a tissue out of a box. And then exhale, drawing in my abs. I breathe in to the ribs. I draw up at my pelvic floor, very light. And I draw in my abs. I feel that tightening like a corset wrapping around between your ribs and your pelvis. And then from there, to bring in a little bit of leg strength, my feet are hip distance apart, my ankles are directly under my knees here. I breathe into the ribs, I draw up with the pelvic floor muscles, activate my abdominals, and then I press into the fitness circle. Breathe in, and press in. Breathe in. Anchoring with your sit bones heavy. That's why it's nice to do these on a hard chair, a hard surface. And back. And draw in. And then back. And draw in. And these are really good for changing the relationship between strength through your abdominals and calming down possible overworked back muscles, right? So then this one here, the arms are long. And I reach my fingertips forward where I feel my shoulder blades glide around my ribs, and then I draw my arms back into my shoulder blades, and a small bit of movement as I draw my shoulder blades down my back. I bring shoulder blades separating, arms coming back into the shoulder blades, sliding the shoulder blades down your back. The reason being that the arms have to come back into the scapula, the shoulder blades, is because if I leave my arms forward and I just try to draw my shoulder blades back, I might end up going into my upper neck muscles, right? Let the arms reach forward, shoulder blades get a nice little stretch there in between them. Draw the arms back. You've got enough slack there now, and slide your shoulder blades gently down your back. And then you can apply a tiny bit of tone and resistance into the hands. I reach forward, stay out of the neck, and I come back. And then you can go smaller on that. So we go to inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, pelvic floor and abs throughout, inhale, exhale. And the arms don't have to be too high, all depending on how you're feeling it. I like to keep you out of your upper traps, get your work in your mid-back muscles here. Cool. Then this one, I might just come front facing here. It's like a game of musical chairs, right? So elbows out like that, and then press in and out. Press that way and back. Press. So sustained width through your collarbones, and I like to press in on the heel of the hand, this part, rather than the thumb part. Because if I press in with the kind of little finger line, the outside part, then I get more of an opening. Rather, if I press in with the thumb, sometimes I'm more prone to kind of turning in. So I like width And then back with a bit of added resistance on that. And back. Again, breathing into the ribs. Draw up with your pelvic floor, pull in. Breathing in and pull in. Well done, good job. Good. Then there's an overarm reach. I might actually keep that to the floor actually for now. And yeah, I think I'll leave that for the chair ones for now. So then we go on to the mat. I'll just get rid of this. And I will just angle this down. Yeah. So on this one, when you're lying on your mat, just make sure your head is supported, so you can use a small hand towel or a little pillow to make sure that you shouldn't feel tension in your neck. Overarm reach then is with the arms up towards the ceiling. The sole basis of this is to be able to dissociate your arms from your rib cage. In other words, be able to move your arms from your ribs without you arching through your mid-back, right? When I'm lying on the mat, I have a tiny space between the lower back and the floor, just the space of a blueberry. So to test that, you can just roll your pelvis towards you where you feel your lower back caress the mat. Roll the pelvis away as far as you can. You've got a big arch between your back. Come back and just roll a little bit where you've only a small arch in your lower back, right? Hold your shape there and then get used to anchoring down with your sacrum, so you're kind of a little bit higher up off your tailbone, right? The base of your pelvis, right? Then from here, I breathe in, draw up with your pelvic floor and your abs, it can reach back. And then that way. I'll just do one more like this and then I'll show you a different way you can do this. You can reach back that way. So that's with more of an upper body component. Then the other part that you can do is you can have the fitness circle in between your legs with your feet not too wide, just because you have the prop in between your thighs. And you can reach the arms up. And then on the exhale, draw up with your pelvic floor muscles and your abs. And reach the arms back and squeeze the legs together at the same time. And then come back and reach and squeeze. And then come back and reach and squeeze. Good. And then come back. Draw your arms down by your sides. Then from here, you can just get used to that. Again, you can have one hand on over your belly button, the other one below your belly button. You can breathe into your ribs with a relaxed neck and shoulders. Draw up with your pelvic floor. Pull in your abs away from your fingertips. Squeeze legs together. Then inhale to stay there. And then exhale. Pressure off the legs, but keep that relationship working, keep your abs engaged, right? And back. When you're pulling in your stomach, don't pull in as hard as you can. Try about kind of maybe 30-40% of maximum contraction. It's kind of like you feel your abs are working, but it's not that uncomfortable kind of work rate that it's hard to actually keep them engaged. Again, you start to feel your inner thighs working here. Press it in, pressure off, press it in, pressure off, press in, press off, press in, pressure off. Good. Let's try the opposite to that, as in the outside of the thighs, right? So I've got rid of my head pad just when I'm going to come into a bridge, but I'm going to do an articulated version of it. So you get your legs and you pop your legs into the fitness circle. So it's a couple of inches away from my knee, right? Maybe halfway between, a little bit higher of halfway between my hip and my knee, like that. I breathe in and then I peel and roll up. So I like to put a small bit of pressure of the outside of the thighs. I scoop in my abs here. I try not to push up towards my head. I like to pull my body down towards my feet, reach the knees away. Don't go into a back bend here. So it's more about the relationship between your pelvis and your ribs. And then I breathe in from here. And then I softly articulate down like I'm a row of pearls or a bicycle chain, coming down one vertebrae at a time. I find people find this kind of the hardest bit. Sometimes we can get stuck a little bit in that upper thoracic spine. So take your time coming down on these, gently down, and then back. Like how slow, how fast you should come down. Correlate the movement with your breath, or even if you need to take a few extra breaths, well then do that. Breathe in. Exhale, peel and come up. Rolling up. A nice little pressure of your outer thighs there, allowing you to get into your buttocks muscles. You can adjust your feet accordingly, where you feel that you've got a nice base of support there. Then breathe in, get the stretch more to your hips, staying off the neck here, and then soften. So keep your hips up and then start to melt. Think about melting your breastbone down. Melt the breastbone. Use the breath. Stay relaxed through the neck. Scoop out your abs now. Pull in. Pull in. Such a great stretch. You even get to release your diaphragm out here as well. This is kind of good for organ hydration and your abs and spinal mobility, more to the point, right? So let's just try one more this way. So you breathe in and peel and roll, scoop out. And then at the early stages of these, you might notice a little bit of rigidity in the spine and so on. As time goes on, and relax, it'll start to ease out. Depends on what you're doing from one day to the next. If you were on a kind of a brisk long walk one day, you might feel that you're a little bit more kind of rigid in your back than of another day, right? So, okay, then I'll show you these little bit of a hamstring stretch. These are quite nice because it's low load on the body because you're lying on your back. So I've got my toes in the band, not on the actual pad part, and then I lift up like that, and you get your little stretch, and wherever you end up, and also it depends on how long your arms are as well, versus how long your foot is, and you can give yourself a little stretch that way. And then if it feels good for you, you can reach your other leg a little bit away from you. And then we can kind of wrap it up so you can bend the leg that's in the air on the inhale. And exhale, reach up. Such a great stretch. And then I don't have to pull that hard. If I relax my arms a little bit, the weight of my arms alone will give me enough feedback into the back of the leg. Just watch the back of the knee. Always have you could have a hint of a bend in the back of the knee, and that way you know that you're not going to do any damage to the back of your knee, right, or your hamstrings. And you feel it in your calf. Then you can come off that. If you want a tiny little bit more stretch as a result of loosening out a little bit and feeling that you can go for a little bit more, you can draw your toes down towards you, and you feel that you're getting that nice little. It's a little bit of that's more of a kind of a calf stretch there. Yeah. And then back up. And you can do one more round of that. So I reach up like that. Just watch that your knee doesn't automatically go out to the side of the outside of your body. Sometimes I just leave my hand there. And then you can draw down. And then back up. Such a great stretch. And you can wrap that out a little bit. Reaching the heel up towards the ceiling. That's a nerve stretch more than anything else. And back, and one more. Reach. And then back. Brilliant. Okay, cool. Switch over. Switch pegs. Alright, so breathe in. You reach up. You'll always find one is a little bit tighter than the other. Could be your dominant leg is a little bit tighter. I'm left side dominant, so I definitely feel it can be tighter on this side. It's tend to kind of overwork our stronger leg without realizing it. So sometimes it just needs that little bit of extra attention. And back. Good. Went straight into the calf stretch on that side. So up. Just do your single hamstring and bend. Stay out of the neck. Just gently there. little bend in the elbows maybe. If you prefer that other leg bent, do that way. Or then you can support the leg there and then draw down and up. Such a great stretch. Down and up and down and up. Good job. Good. Alright, so that's those ones then. There's a couple of, I'll just show you single leg extension, right? So single leg extension is, single leg extension without the fitness circle looks like this. So it's that kind of a thing where you're using your glutes and your abs to switch on, you're using your glutes to retrain to stay out of your lower back. Because when we go into leg extension, it's kind of like hamstring, glute and lower back. And a lot of the time, if the buttocks muscles aren't working as well as they should, it's kind of hamstring straight into the lower back. And even sometimes it's kind of like lower back, hamstring, glute. So that it can be a kind of it's retraining your body how to fire the way it should, right? So without getting too bogged down into it. So this one, I think the hardest bit is getting into the thing. So just from there, kind of have that handle to handle like that. Take your two hands, roll yourself backwards and adjust yourself accordingly where you know that you've got a straight push down. Hopefully you're getting that. Yeah, straight push down and back. Now I could muscle through this with the weight of my leg and the front of my thigh. So I try to focus on keeping my leg as relaxed as I possibly can on this. And then I breathe into my ribs and I try to activate my glute and back up. And you mightn't feel that glute switch on until you've pressed down a little bit with the fitness circle. There's also a proprioceptive, like there's a bit of balance control on this, so the first time you try these, you might lose the fitness circle, and that's fine. And then I've got a hint of a bend in the knee here, and then the beauty of this is, I'm lying on my back, so I'm in a supine position, and there's absolutely no pressure on my lower back whatsoever when I do hip extension, right? So there's a lot of really nice benefits. I love these. I love being able to do an exercise in a manner that has me in a relaxed position and I can just isolate the areas that I want to isolate rather than trying to get into a position and knowing that I'm going into other body areas, and when I have to work now to get into the areas that I'm supposed to be getting into. So here's a classic example of that, right? You'll start to feel that in your hamstrings. That's a good thing. I think we all need strong hamstrings. Strong, and then use your abs. Breathe in. Like that. Push down. Breathe in. Push down. No tension in the neck. Lower back's happy. No rotation in the pelvis. You think you're doing nothing there, but you're actually really doing some nice work there. And that's more the straight leg version of that, right? Because there's another one that I do, but I'm not going to confuse it. So that's that way, pushing down and up. And they build up. They'd be really good for your walking and so on as well. And I'll just get this way. So there we are. That. Push down. Make sure you're nice and long. Yeah. That way. And up. Yeah, the other leg's bent. Try not to let the pelvis rotate just because the resistance is coming from one side and then back. And I've got a soft point through the foot. Sorry, I should have said that on the first one. Foot's relaxed and pointed. Use your abs. Back. Good job. And relax it. Okay. Yeah, and then just so you've got some abs, some shoulders, some seated, some inner thighs. And let's go with that for now. So this is part one of this little short express movements with the fitness circle. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.